What if I told you that the first $100,000 doesn't just change your bank balance? It quietly changes how the world responds to you. Not because you suddenly become rich, not because life becomes easy, but because something invisible flips. Before 100K, you chase money. You think about it daily. You worry about it constantly. You push, hustle, stress, and still feel behind. After 100K, money starts behaving differently. Opportunities arrive faster. People trust you quicker. Decisions feel lighter. The difference isn't the money. It's the position the money puts you in. And once you cross that line, money doesn't feel hunted anymore. It feels attracted. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why 100K is the most misunderstood milestone in personal finance and how to make sure money starts chasing you instead of the other way around. If you are new, subscribe the Wealthy channel and let's get started. Point 1. The day survival quietly leaves your mind. There's a moment that happens after 100K that no one celebrates out loud. You don't post it. You don't announce it. You don't even notice it at first. But one random day, you realize you're no longer solving urgent problems. You're solving important ones. Before this level, every decision is defensive. Rent, bills, emergencies, job security. Even good opportunities feel risky because failure would hurt too much. The mind stays trapped in short-term survival math. Once you cross roughly 100,000 in net worth or liquid assets, something shifts psychologically. Financial stress dramatically reduces cognitive bandwidth. When basic security is missing, the brain literally narrows its thinking range. After this threshold, that noise begins to fade. Not disappear, but soften. And that mental space is where money quietly starts moving toward you. Here's the mistake many people make at this stage. They treat 100K as permission to relax. Spending increases subtly. Lifestyle creeps in quietly. The mind thinks, I've made it past the hard part. 100K isn't the finish line. It's the moment the real game starts. Point 2. People begin treating you differently. Before you even notice. Something subtle happens when you stop needing money urgently. People can sense it. Not consciously, not logically, but energetically. Negotiations feel smoother. Conversations last longer. Offers come with fewer conditions. You're no longer transmitting desperation, even silently. And desperation, whether we admit it or not, repels opportunity. Humans subconsciously trust those who can afford patience. When someone doesn't rush decisions, doesn't oversell themselves, and doesn't panic at no, we assume competence, even if nothing else has changed. After 100K, you can afford to walk away, and walking away is magnetic. Most people sabotage this moment by trying to prove they've made it. They talk more, flex subtly, explain their plans, justify their decisions. Ironically, that kills the very leverage this stage gives. Instead, silence becomes power. Listening becomes strategy. Selective action becomes identity. A quiet realization hits. Money is no longer just stored value. It's social leverage. Not the loud kind, the invisible kind. Ask yourself this honestly. How many opportunities did I chase simply because I couldn't afford to wait? Now imagine removing that pressure. This is when money starts chasing you, not because you're richer, but because you're calmer. And calm people attract high-quality outcomes. But the real acceleration doesn't come from people. It comes from how systems begin working with you. That's what we'll uncover next. Point 3. Compounding stops feeling abstract and starts feeling real. Before 100K, compounding is an idea. After 100K, it becomes an experience. You see 7,000 appear in a year without direct effort. You watch dividends hit your account quietly. You notice that a small percentage now equals meaningful dollars. This is where belief finally catches up with math. Many people never reach this stage because they quit before compounding becomes emotionally convincing. They expect exponential results while still operating at linear scale. That mismatch kills patience. The first 100K teaches your nervous system that money can grow without constant input. But people make a critical mistake here. They start chasing higher returns instead of protecting consistency. Risk increases, strategy fragments, focus dissolves. What works instead is boring, almost unsexy discipline, keeping capital in environments where time, not effort, does the heavy lifting. Once inevitability becomes the goal, money accelerates quietly. And here's the open loop. Compounding doesn't just apply to investments. It applies to reputation, skills, and leverage. Point 4. Income stops, depending entirely on time. Before this level, income is tightly coupled to effort. More hours, more stress, more output. After 100K, something shifts. Income begins detaching from time. Not instantly, not magically, but structurally. You now have enough margin to say no to low-leverage work, enough buffer to invest in skills that don't pay immediately, enough capital to absorb short-term inefficiency for long-term upside. Most people misuse this phase by staying stuck in the same earning identity. They upgrade lifestyle but not leverage. They earn more the same way, just louder. What works instead is identity evolution. You stop asking, how can I work harder, and start asking, how can I position myself where effort multiplies? This is where assets, intellectual property, scalable systems, and equity-based thinking quietly enter the picture. Why does it feel like some people earn more while appearing less busy? The answer is uncomfortable but empowering. They aren't working less, they're working upstream. And upstream positioning is only possible when money stops controlling your short-term decisions. Point 5. Fear loses its grip on financial decisions. Fear doesn't disappear after 100K. It changes shape. Instead of fearing bills, you fear stagnation. Instead of fearing loss, you fear wasted potential. This is powerful if you handle it correctly. Many people self-sabotage here by becoming overly conservative. They cling to safety because they remember scarcity too vividly. Money stops chasing them because they unconsciously block growth. Others swing the opposite way. Overconfidence, reckless bets, ego-driven decisions. The balanced approach is emotional regulation, treating money as a tool, not a scoreboard. One of the most overlooked transformations at this level is emotional neutrality. Wins don't spike dopamine as high. Losses don't crush identity as deeply. Decisions become cleaner. Ask yourself this: do my financial choices come from fear of losing or clarity of direction? Clarity attracts capital, fear repels it. And once fear loosens its grip, something incredible happens. Your environment starts upgrading. That's what we'll explore next. Point 6. Your environment quietly levels up. After 100K, you gain access, not through invitations, but through alignment. You're in rooms longer, conversations go deeper, advice improves, exposure widens. Not because you're richer, but because you're stable. Most people overlook how much environment shapes income. The books you read, the problems you hear discussed, the risks normalized around you, all of it influences what feels possible. The mistake here is staying loyal to environments that reinforced your old limits. Familiar comfort becomes invisible friction. What works instead is intentional proximity, curating inputs, choosing conversations that stretch thinking rather than validate it. Money starts finding paths to you without effort. There's a strange phase that begins after 100K where opportunities don't announce themselves loudly. They arrive casually, almost lazily. Someone mentions a deal in passing. A friend asks if you want to look at something real quick. An email lands in your inbox that you didn't apply for. This isn't coincidence, it's positioning. Before this stage, you were searching. You were actively looking for ways to earn, save, invest, grow. Your attention was outward. After this stage, your attention shifts inward to filters, standards, and alignment. And that shift alone changes what reaches you. The common mistake here is confusion disguised as excitement. People say yes to everything because they're afraid the flow might stop. That fear causes dilution. Capital spreads thin. Focus fragments. Momentum quietly leaks away. What works instead is restraint. Letting opportunities compete for your attention rather than the other way around. You stop chasing more and start selecting better. Number 8. Time becomes an asset instead of a threat. Before 100K, time feels like pressure, deadlines, aging, urgency, falling behind. After 100K, time starts feeling like leverage. You can wait, you can pause, you can think longer than others, and longer thinking almost always beats faster reaction. There's an overlooked psychological shift here. When time stops threatening you, decision quality rises dramatically. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop rushing into answers. You let patterns reveal themselves. Most people waste this phase by filling time instead of using it. They stay busy to feel productive. Meetings multiply. Projects stack. Movement replaces meaning. What works instead is deliberate slowness, thinking in seasons instead of weeks, making fewer decisions, but better ones. A simple but uncomfortable question appears. If I had to explain this decision 5 years from now, would it still make sense? That question alone filters out 80% of bad moves. This is when money starts behaving differently, not because of smarter tactics, but because fewer mistakes quietly disappear from your life. And once mistakes reduce, something else happens that no one warned you about. Your identity starts changing. That shift is subtle, but irreversible. In every video, I try to discuss and address the factors that surely improve the chances of your success. If you like this also, subscribe the channel, like and share the wealthy knowledge to your loved ones. If you're curious about the secret framework top 3% used to leave the rat race, that's exactly what I cover in the next video. See you there.